Hey everyone, thank you for joining us today for the AIME Women's Mortgage Network's Growth Series. This series is here for you to educate, inspire, and share your progress as we lift each other up to new levels. On today's show, we have an industry icon that doesn't need much of an introduction, the one and only Christine Beckwith, the president and COO of 2020 Vision for Success Coaching. Christine, thank you so much for being with us today. We cannot wait to hear all your insights and perspectives and sharing it with our group.
Yay! I'm so glad to be here. Thank you. I've seen this on my calendar now for a few weeks, and I could not be more honored to talk to the Women Mortgage Network that I know is so incredible. And I'm just really happy to impart some wisdom. So let's do this.
Oh, absolutely. Well, first off, like I said, you're an industry icon for many, many different reasons. But to be quite honest, Christine, we know you so much from your branding and your social media presence. But the part that I'm not sure everyone's aware of is the fact that before 2016, you actually didn't have much of a presence. So I think we need to start there. I want to actually hear, what was that pivotal moment that caused you to jump into that? How did you go about it? And what did you learn from actually getting out and putting yourself out there to brand yourself to eventually creating your own company?
Yeah, so it's true. In 2016, I was at the time vice president of national sales and real estate for Annie Mac Home Mortgage. And that fall in September, I did an offsite retreat with about 60 new originators to the company. And one of the big topics was social media, because of course, in 2016, mortgage professionals were starting to move in this direction. They were starting to follow icons that convert monetarily in the space. And so I used myself, as I often would, as the teacher, and I set down a challenge. I'm known for putting out like public statements that will anchor me. I teach these tactics in business planning, which is once you make a goal public, then everybody can hold you accountable and it's not a secret. So I said, I'm going to try to get 10,000 followers. And the way I'm going to do that, and at the time I had about 500 people on Facebook, to put this in context, no Facebook business page, no groups. I also had about 1,000, 1,200 people on LinkedIn that were pretty, my connections were pretty dried up or older, and I wasn't active and had no Instagram, had no Twitter. And so when I made that statement, it was a pretty courageous statement. And I said that the way that I was going to learn was going to be in teaching myself the algorithms and teaching myself how to post and be active and all of those things. So I set out that year to do that. And I knew, I was coming into the tailwind of starting 2020 Vision coaching. I knew we needed a social media presence. And so, I don't mind sharing with everybody listening so you can have a few tips that I spend about 15 minutes a day connecting with people on all the social medias. And I started to post 3 to 5 times a week.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. All right. And did you strategically connect to people, or did you kind of just go out there and say, hey, every connection is a good connection? Like, what was your thought process?
Yeah, it's great that you asked that, because at the time that I made this decision, I had been vetting every possible connection. If you were asking me to be your Facebook friend, I wanted to know, did I know you? And, certain things were coming to mind in terms of safety and then business affiliation. And so what I will tell you is, somewhere during watching one of the self-help videos on LinkedIn, I learned that their algorithms do a lot than we could possibly do vetting our own connections.
Wow.
They are researching the backgrounds of individuals, how many connections we all have with each other. Are they in like businesses? All those types of things. And in doing that, their suggestions are quite robust for like a B2B, what we call business to business on LinkedIn. And so it said, trust our connection algorithms. If we say you should connect to, or we suggest, just close your eyes and connect. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's like a scary proposition.
Yep.
But I did it. And what happened is for every 10 people I added daily on LinkedIn, their whole networks were notified that that person became a connection to me. And so when you think about broadcasting or CRM marketing or any type of marketing where your name is being thrust in front of people for the first time, to have 10 professionals a day whose whole network was being announced that they had met, they were now connected to me, what would happen is I would connect with 10 people and 300 would come back requesting connections, because it would say to them, we suggest you also connect with Christine. So the algorithms did the work for me. The advertising did the work for me. And I didn't end up connecting to 10,000 people. I ended up connecting to almost 40,000 people. Wow. In a span of 12 months. So it took off like wildfire.
Wow, that is so interesting. So to go back, you essentially looked at the suggestions and you connected to them and then just let it take its course from that point. Wow, that is really fascinating. Now, in terms of posting, you said that, now I know what you're currently doing, but let's go back in time, okay, when you built this. So you did 3 to 5 posts a week. Okay. Yep. Now, were you strategic in what you were posting? Like, did you have a method to your madness in terms of what the material was? So give us your strategy.
I was pretty raw in branding information, meaning I didn't really know what I was doing in 2016, other than I was following, and I don't mind saying out loud, Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yeah.
And so he was saying authenticity connects. And he was saying, you have to remember that in order to convert on social media, you first have to connect with people. And so the mistake we often make is we think that selling a product or converting to monetization on social media means directly showing your product, having a call to action, like call us if you want this, whatever it might be, 30-year fixed mortgage. And so really what he said is, no, that's not, think of it as dating. So if you want interested parties, you got to first tell them about yourself. And so he would teach, storytelling, social media, branding should be about solving to a problem of the audience, and then also sharing who you are. And so with that in mind, I literally did what was like anti-thought of as smart on LinkedIn, which was posting memes. But what I did is I picked memes that I really felt exposed my strong traits of my personality and were positive attributes that could be used and consumed by the public in a really thought-provoking but positive way. And so I began to do that. And I think soon people started to figure out, and then I slowly added video monologuing where I would do interviews and my answers would be shown. And I'm still doing that today because people tune in almost like a television station. So when they go over to LinkedIn, and by the way, LinkedIn is still the most highest traffic space for executive C-suite level individuals. About 2 to 3 hours of actual watch time is consumed by every executive in our industry a week. So I want to put that in perspective. That's a lot of commercialization. And since I'm trying to, connect my company with executives in our industry, of course, sharing those voices and those storylines, having them want to watch what we're putting up because there's a continuation or a series or something like that has been really popular. Yeah.
Right. So you made a good point. We all know that there's lots of observers, right? There's lots of people that observe, but they don't necessarily engage. And we always hear, well, I'm afraid I don't know what to post, or I'm not comfortable doing video, or I'm kind of hesitating on what I put out there. Do you recommend that if nothing else, just engage?
Yeah, the algorithms state that if you post 3 to 5 times a week, or it's this for that. So what I want you to know is part of the algorithm is measuring your actual liking, sharing, and commenting of other people's stuff. So you have to give a little to get a little. The algorithms give you almost bonus points in what you post and how high it comes up on the timeline based on what you do. So for instance, if you spend 15 minutes a day watching other people's stuff, commenting, liking, and sharing, you're helping Facebook because you're helping advertise other people's social media. They consider you a worker bee. That's not their words, but that's what they look at it like you're helping us share things that are popular. And so they say, for doing that, when you go to post, we're going to put your stuff in a bigger room. So our publicity rooms in social media are made up of our connections. So let's say you have 500 Facebook friends. When you go to post something, it's going to be seen by 500 people. And so you're guaranteed that your connections are going to see it. But some of the social medias have gotten so strict with the space that they don't even actually let your post be seen by all 500. Actually, Facebook changed this for themselves in 2018. They are letting the top 25% of your 500 people see it. So when you post something, it goes into a little room with a portion of the people you're connected to as friends. And if those top 20% that commonly see your stuff and like it, engage, they open the doors a little bit. They throw the windows open. And so that post that gets a lot of early activity gets the doors swung open and the windows open and more people are let in. And then if it really gets a lot of publicity, they're going to invite the public in, not just your connections, but hey, everybody out there on social media, look at this person. You may want to connect with them. Look at what they're doing. And that's how things kind of become viral. I would love to tell you that, we try literally every month. We have 8 to 10 campaigns going on for 2020 that are themed and they're running in some sort of pattern. And so I had something get liked 46,000 times this winter,
Wow.
a single post. Now, I would love to say to you, I hit the jackpot. I now know what it is. Every post I'm putting up is getting that kind of traffic. No, it was like the moon was aligned. Something I wrote, by the way, interestingly, no graphic on LinkedIn, 10 p.m. at night, just wrote something passionate. And it got enough traffic that it made it onto the LinkedIn highway where, it gets all that push. So I would just tell you, go back to your posts when you're posting them, watch for activity. Here's a little tip too. If your post seems like it's dying, if you have that post and it gets no likes, don't let that make you crazy. Keep it up and try again the next day at a different time, the same exact post. I challenge you to do that. I have done that and had a completely different response for the same thing. It may be that the one that didn't get enough traction early, the doors got shut on the room and it just isn't getting any visibility. And so I realize we get in our heads and sometimes we're like, oh, nobody liked that. It's not rejection, it's visibility. So keep that in mind. You might also write a comment on your own post. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're not supposed to like your own post. But if you do a continued thought, so you write something, you post something and you say, and blah, 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 your own comment could boost the visibility. Remember that. That's a little tip for you.
Look at all this that we're learning. Oh my God, this is exciting. All right. Yeah. Different topic now, going into other things. All right.
Sure.
So, Christine, you've done so many different things within the mortgage industry. And, from just a short time that we've known each other, and it seems like forever, but it's actually only been a couple of years, I've seen you have such great execution. So if you were going to give a piece of advice to all the ladies out there, just about, a couple of things. One, to follow your dream and to not be scared. So I want to hear a little bit about that. And then, listen, that execution, sometimes it's hard for us it's so overwhelming and it's so large. How do you stay focused of, okay, maybe that wasn't going the direction I wanted it to, but I'm going to get it back on track and stay focused. So,
yeah. So, I think when I look back over my career, I had a series. I was really good at business planning and I was really good at setting annual goals for myself and then working really hard. I'm a big believer in simplifying things. I really feel we win races in our businesses annually by kind of a baton pass to ourselves. This sounds crazy, but it's not. We overcomplicate things. When things seem too big, we don't do them. It's too much. We procrastinate. It piles up. Truly, the way I've created organization from chaos is really look at the mile in front of you. Look at what do you need to do for the rest of July? Like what right now, as you're watching this out there, is going wrong in your business? Maybe you don't have enough time. Maybe you don't have enough focus. Maybe you're not slowing down to delegate and train other people. And it's important for you to scale right now and get more hands on deck, but you've got to fall back to kind of go forward. you really have to look constantly with eyes that are like CEO. So I always put those mile markers. I'm a big believer in that. I operate from a plan. I'm looking at it monthly. I'm looking at it quarterly. I'm driving towards some big targets annually. But I'm going to tell you, like, the big things that happened in my career really happened because I just put one good year up behind the next. Right. And I let those things stack upon each other without having a big year. Today, I'll finish that thought. Without having every single year that I was going to conquer the world this year. I didn't. Right. I felt like I'm going to get to the next place I want to go this year. And, you know, I have 3 and 5 year personal goals, and I have 3 and 5 year business goals for 2020. I know where I want to be in 5 years personally. I know where I want to be in 5 years business wise. But I know in order for me to get to 2021's business plan, which I have mapped out, I have to execute this year on the 2020 plan. I will tell you, you have to stop when you hit milestones and celebrate. Yeah. It is really an important part to reward yourself, because if you don't do that, I used to work through lunches and work till midnight, and God knows I'm a heavy worker and a hard worker, but I have learned I can get more done in an afternoon when I step away for 30 minutes midday. Very hard to have adapted to that mindset, because I want that 30 minutes to do the extra. But when I'm running on fumes into the afternoon, it actually compounds into lesser, it's kind of like running a car out of gas. You have less you have less power. So that refueling, even on the weekends, like I have to force myself to disconnect on the weekend. And it's not easy for me. So I'm speaking to you as, kind of a rehabilitated OCD personality. But I can tell you the power I bring to my Monday morning is tremendous because of the disconnect.
Awesome. Awesome. I love that advice. Wholeheartedly agree with all of it. And you do learn that with each year, you realize that you're actually better for yourself and your team when you take a moment back and celebrate those small wins. Huge. All right. I can't believe we're already 20 minutes after. Yeah. So I'm leaving you with the one piece of advice, the one thing that you want to share with the group to say, this is my biggest piece of advice to share.
Yeah. My biggest piece of advice for women in our business is to drive from a place of principle, to protect your boundaries, and to absolutely go for results. I think one of the greatest ways that we are going to get respect, and the greatest way I've earned respect in my field, is because of those reasons. And because I really feel that we are going to be respected when we are delivering results. Work hard. Show them you know how to run your businesses. I love competition. I think it's great that, I see so many females in this group. I obviously put you on the cover of my first edition of my magazine because I couldn't think of a better group of people, or a bigger group of people, that collectively owned their own businesses in our industry than the Women's Mortgage Network. I believe today you are the largest organization of originators, brokers in our space. And so I want to just pour gasoline on that. I mean, ladies, go for the market share, go get the business, show them what you're made of, run your business as well. If today you're listening and there's something about your business that you're not sure, reach out to us. We'll happily help and assist and give advice. But, you have to run your businesses like a CEO. So if you think in any way, shape, or form you're not doing that, step back, assess your whole business, and figure out how to deliver results. You're gonna earn respect by doing that.
Awesome. Fantastic advice. Thank you. We actually come to challenge time. And this challenge is actually going to tie a little bit to Christine. This week, we actually want to encourage the women of the Women's Mortgage Network to nominate yourself or another amazing woman within the mortgage industry for the Women with Vision 2020 award. I mean, last year I had the honor of being one of the winners of this award, and I will tell you, it's amazing. We were featured in a magazine, we received an award, and ladies, we want to encourage you that, put that out there. You can have that on your LinkedIn so that when you're working with clients and you're helping families, you have that out there that you are a 2020 Women with Vision award winner. So that's one challenge. And then the second thing is, Christine mentioned the magazine. Women with Vision is a new magazine that Christine's team is putting out. And I have the honor that every month I get to spotlight another a woman from the Women's Mortgage Network. And
Yep.
I have to tell you, I am having such enjoyment of listening to everyone's story. And then Christine is actually allowing us to get that published in her magazine so everyone can see it. Now, Christine is also challenging that if there's someone out there that would like to write for the magazine,
Please.
I mean, we encourage you. And, you know, I said something to Christine just last night. We're working on a project together. And I said, oh, Christine, you keep pushing me out of my comfort zone. And ladies, we encourage all of you. We know sometimes it's like, I'm not a writer. Well, I'm not a writer either. But Christine's got me writing in a magazine that the reason why it's so glorious is because I get to spotlight you guys. I get to hear stories from people that maybe we don't normally get to hear from. And that makes me so proud. And I want to thank Christine and your entire team for doing all of this, because what you've done to support the women in our industry, it's so commendable. And we really do thank you. So thank you for everything you do. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for your support. Thank you for teaching us and guiding us. And thank you so much for being on the show with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. All right, guys, next week, I am very excited that we have another panel discussion coming up. We have Barb Molteri, Arlesia Jones, and Chris Ann Carduff is going to be joining us next week as we discuss Dr. Lois Frankel's book, Nice Girls Don't Get the Corner Office. So please be sure to tune in next week as we have that panel discussion. And we wish all of you a fantastic week and a happy National Mortgage Broker Day on Saturday. Take care, everyone.